Hello, my name is Nikita, and today I'm going to be talking about Terra. So, of recently, Terra has been in the news articles a lot. So, if I go through a couple of news articles right over here, we see that it is one of the three cryptocurrencies which is proclaimed to be ready for a bull run. Its native staking token Luna was one of the best performing cryptocurrencies of 2021. Along with that, Terra is one of the few cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ether, and Solana, whose prices is increasing up to 7%. Now, given this huge buzz around Terra, I'm pretty sure you'd be inquisitive to learn more about it, how exactly it works, what exactly is like the protocol of Terra, and so on. So in the next 20 minutes, I aim to take you through a brief summary of how exactly Terra operates. Now, if you read any article on Terra, you will definitely come across some concepts like validators, blockchain, or some names like Terraform Labs, Chai, Cash, protocols like Anchor, um, you know, coin names like UST and Luna definitely. So in order for you to make more sense of what exactly Terra is doing in today's economy, it's necessary for you to understand broadly the ideas that Terra revolves around and how exactly they all integrate together to form the entire economy or ecosystem of Terra. So let's dive right in. In this seminar, we will first go through some quick questions, talk about how exactly Terra works, move on to the governance policy of Terra, and then if it leaves you inquisitive enough, we'd be talking about how exactly can you get started with Terra, like on a practical basis. And then we'd be moving on to some applications of Terra and this new concept of a Terra ecosystem. So let's begin with the quick questions. First question, what is Terra? Is Terra a blockchain or is it a cryptocurrency? And the answer is it's actually both. So Terra, it actually refers to an open source blockchain protocol, and this blockchain protocol is based on the principle of algorithmic stablecoins, and we will be discussing this in detail in the subsequent slides. Along with this blockchain protocol, the coin or the cryptocurrency that operates on this blockchain protocol is Terra. So in fact, there are two cryptocurrency tokens on this protocol. One of them is named Terra and the other one is named Luna. Now, how is Terra different from Luna? Now, Terra is basically the stablecoin. So it's a stablecoin that tracks the prices of fiat currencies, and it is such that it is named for their fiat counterparts. So for example, we have this Terra named UST, which is basically the Terra currency, the Terra stablecoin corresponding to the American or the US dollar. Now, what users do is that they can mint new Terra by burning Luna, and the reverse, which basically means minting Luna by burning Terra, is possible as well. Luna, on the other hand, is primarily used for governance and mining policy. It's basically used to observe the price volatility of Terra, and we'll be discussing how exactly this happens in the subsequent slides. Luna is used for staking purposes. So the word stake implies that, I'm pretty sure you'd understand that it's not based on the proof of work mechanism, but it's based on the proof of stake mechanism. And to ensure that staking happens, we use this Luna coin. Again, further details on this would be discussed in the subsequent slides. However, one important fact to note over here is that the more Terra is used, the more the Luna is worth. Alright, so who designed Terra? Now, Terra is relatively new. It was founded in 2018, and it was designed by two founders. Basically, one of the guys was an engineer. He was an ex-employee of Microsoft, and the other person, Daniel, he is a businessman. He has had and he was the founder of a company named Timon and is currently running Chai along with Terra. So a question that I'm pretty sure might be in your mind is why Terra? We already have a blockchain cryptocurrency named Bitcoin. What does Terra offer that Bitcoin does not have? And it's actually a very valid question. So let's talk about this in more detail. So let's go back a couple of years, wherein 10,000 bitcoins were exchanged for a pizza. So let's put ourselves in the shoes of this pizza delivery guy, and let's see what the possible outcomes could be. So suppose there is this person who's willing to sell 10,000 bitcoins to me in exchange for a pizza worth $20. Now, there are two possible outcomes. It's likely that if I engage in this transaction, the value of the Bitcoin shoots up, which is exactly what happened. So this Bitcoin, these 10,000 Bitcoins, which are worth $20 in that year, might be worth some $20,000 today. Just give an example. But it's also likely that the value of Bitcoin falls. So it's possible that though I exchanged the 10,000 Bitcoins for the $20 pizza, instead of rising, the value of Bitcoin falls, and instead of like $20, it's not even worth $2. So that basically means the fall of Bitcoin. So this volatile nature of Bitcoin is something investors don't actually prefer. And that's where Terra comes in. So Terra brings in the best of two worlds. It combines the best of the fiat currency, by bringing a stable price, along with the blockchain plus points of a decentralized economy. So, how exactly is Terra stable? I mean, what fundamental policy is it based on? Terra is based on the concept of supply and demand. So consider this scenario. There is this particular item and people want it a lot. There is a huge demand for that item. Let's say there are some 10K people wanting one item each of that particular new product. But let's assume that the supply is limited, which means I have just 5K products. So what will happen? The worth of this product will increase so that only a few people can actually afford this product. The same is true for Terra. So when the demand of Terra is high, as happened over here, and the supply is limited, which is this case, the price of Terra increases. And we'd also expect that when the demand is low and the supply is large, the price of Terra will decrease. So the Terra is based on a protocol that ensures a balance between supply and demand, and this leads to a stable price. Let's actually study this in more detail. So let's assume that the total supply of the coins is given by, the base right over here. And let's assume we have two pools. Okay, so the entire Terra economy is now two pools. We have one golden pool for Luna and a blue pool for Terra. Now, we also have this machine shown in green over here. So what this machine is capable of is taking some Luna coins. So let me draw some Luna coins, which come over here, burning them and generating some Terra coins in exchange. And the vice versa is possible as well. So that means it could take some Terra coins, burn them, and generate some Luna coins. Now, let us assume the $1 mark for this UST is right over here. Okay. Now, in the case that the price of the Terra actually rises above $1, what will happen is that we will take some of the Luna coins over here. Okay, we will take some of the Luna coins, which means we will decrease the total supply of Luna coins, burn them, and generate some. So we send the Luna coins into our machine, and then we generate some Terra coins. So the Terra coins, the supply of Terra coins increases, and the volume, which was initially over here, now when the supply will increase, we have this new container over here, this new pool. So the volume initially marked by this point over here will fall because the total market cap remains the same, right? We've increased the area of the base, the height will decrease, and it's possible that we'll reach the $1 mark. The same is possible if the reverse happens. So by the reverse, let's take a different color. Let's say we have purple. Okay, so in this case, let's assume that this is the $1 mark over here. Okay, now let's assume that the price of my Terra coin is less than $1. Now what will happen is that we can take some of these Terra coins over here. Okay, we can feed them into my machine that I have, which will burn these Terra coins and generate Luna coins. Now, when I'm going to decrease the supply, what basically happens is that my container shrinks. So now instead of my container having a width of, this much, my container has a width given by this new purple line. Say, let me name it X2, okay? So when the width of the container decreases, the height will naturally increase, and it's possible it reaches the $1 mark. So this expansion and contraction is used to maintain the constant price of Terra. Now the question is, it's all based on burning some Terra coins, minting Luna coins, burning some Luna coins and minting some Terra coins. But what incentivizes users to actually do this? Why would a user want to burn Luna or mint Terra and so on? The underlying idea is arbitrage. So arbitrage is basically making a profit from the price difference between markets. So suppose there is an ice cream that sells for 5 rupees in the wholesale market and I sell it for 10 rupees in the retail market. The profit I earn of 5 rupees is basically the arbitrage. So let's assume case 1. Case 1 is wherein a US Terra is trading at a greater value of dollars. So what the users can do is that they can trade 1 USD for 1 USD. This swap will result in burning of 1 Luna and minting 1 USD. And since the USD will be trading at $1.005, the users can sell the USD and pocket the difference of $0.05. And as multiple users will engage in this arbitrage, the pool will continue to expand and we will have a decline in the price back to $1. Moving on to the second case, if the USD is trading at 0.995 USD, the user can buy 1 USD for this many dollars and then use the swap feature to trade 1 USD for 1 USD of Luna. This swap will result in the burning of 1 Terra coin and the minting of 1 Luna coin, and the profit of 0.05 can be pocketed by the user. Again, as this arbitrage activity continues, the volume will decrease and the price will again increase to $1. So, moving on to validators. Who are the validators? Now, like the way we have miners in the Bitcoin blockchain technology, we have validators in the Terra blockchain technology. And the role is exactly the same. They have to verify each transaction, they propose blocks, vote on the validity, and add each block to the new chain. Add new blocks to the existing chain. They also play an important role in the governance, and we will discuss this subsequently. Now, the Tendermint Consensus is a set of rules which are used to accept or reject a new block. So what happens is that a validator proposes a new block. Now, the rest of the validators, they vote in 2 rounds as to whether they want to accept or reject the block. If the block is rejected, you go back to the first point and a new validator is asked to propose. And if accepted, the block is signed and added to the chain. Now, how does this ensure validity? So there are exactly 2 ideas. The first is the idea of full nodes. So every validator has a copy of all the transactions. So whenever a new block is proposed, they can validate all the transactions on this new block. And the second is the idea of many independent validators. So since we have different independent sets of validators taking place in the voting and not a group of validators, it is less likely for a false block to actually be accepted. Now, staking. The Terra protocol is based on proof of stake, and it is such that it allows only the top 130 validators to participate in consensus. Now, how exactly is this ranking determined? It is determined by the value staked to a particular validator. And the validator cannot just stake value to himself, but it can also have delegators which can stake values to these validators. So, sorry, who can stake Luna to these validators. We will discuss more about delegators in the subsequent slides. Right here, so delegators. So the users who want to receive rewards from the consensus, which means the process of adding a block to the chain, and uh, and they also don't want to run a full node, are known as delegators. So what they do is that they gamble on the validators in a kind of way. So they say that I trust that validator number A would actually always propose valid blocks and would propose them the fastest. So I'm going to stake some 1,000 Luna coins to validator A. So whenever validator A proposes a block that gets added to the blockchain, some part of the reward would go to the delegator as well. Phases of Luna. Now, suppose I am a person on this blockchain technology. My name is A, and I have a total of 50 Luna coins. Suppose 15 of them is something that I have staked to a validator number V1. Okay, so we have this 2v1, then we have another 30 which are just for me, and then we have some 5 Luna coins which were initially bonded to V2, but I didn't like the performance of V2, so I wanna take them back. So they are currently not with me, neither with the validator, but in the process of coming back to me. So these 15 coins over here are actually attributed to bonded coins, and these cannot be traded freely. The 30 coins over here are the coins that I can trade freely, and they're unbonded. And the 5 coins over here are in the process of being unbonded, and they're called unbonding phase of Luna. The process of unbonding takes approximately 21 days to complete. Now, rewards. So how exactly are rewards earned in the Terra system? So we have two kinds of fees. The gas fees is the fees which is added on every transaction, and the swap fees is the fees which occurs when you swap the Terra stable coins for the coins, or when you exchange between a Terra and a Luna. So whatever total fees you get on a particular block, that is distributed between the validators and the delegators. So the validators might keep a portion of the rewards for themselves, which might be known as commission, and the rest of the amount is distributed among the delegators in proportion to how much amount they've actually staked. Governance. So suppose you want to make a change to the Terra ecosystem. So the way you can go about it is by drafting and submitting a proposal. So there are 3 common types of proposal. One is known as the parameter change proposal, wherein you change the parameters. The second is wherein you choose to spend the community pool of Luna coins. And the third is the more complex text proposal. So once you submit a proposal, there is an entire system of voting that takes place. One staked Luna is equal to 1 vote, and in case as a user you're unable to vote, then your vote gets defaulted to the to the validator you are staked to. Validators vote with the entire stake unless specified by the delegators. And as soon as the proposal is accepted, the changes are automatically put into effect. Now, suppose you really are interested into Terra and you want to get started with it. So though Luna is not listed on many platforms, there are these 3 platforms where you can buy Luna. And it's important for you to understand the fees that you'll be incurring on every transaction of Terra. So as I said earlier, each transaction has a gas fees. Along with that, we have an extra fees. So if you're swapping between stable coins, you have to pay the Tobin tax. And if you're swapping between a stable coin and Luna, you have to pay the spread tax. Apart from this, other dApps might charge their own transaction fees on top of the Terra network. Here is a list of all the applications of Terra so far. So we have Chai, which is one of the most prominent payments product in South Korea. Then we have protocols like the Mirror and the Anchor protocol. We have a decentralized lottery system. All of these based on Terra. What we're moving towards is basically an ecosystem, which means a set of projects which all are independent yet sustain each other in a unified process to create an economy of cryptocurrency. So Terra has over 100 projects across decentralized finance, Web 3.0, and NFTs. Here is an overview of like the different kind of projects which are being led under the umbrella of Terra, and we soon be moving to an economy which is basically based on cryptocurrency completely. So with this, I come to an end to the presentation, and I really hope this helped you gain an insight into how exactly Terra works and how you can get started with it in the near future. Thank you.